evening, everyone. My name is Debbie Sunny Gill. I'm the member of East Brunswick Human Relations Council. East Brunswick Human Relations Council is also known as EBHRC. EBHRC is a council made up of East Brunswick residents appointed by Mayor Cohen, who come together once a month to brainstorm events and initiatives to promote diversity, inclusion, and tolerance of different ethnicities, religions, and backgrounds within the township. Some notable initiatives that Council has led include Diversity Rock Swim Initiative, where kids from around the town designed a rock garden in which each rock was decorated by kids, with their own interpretation of the theme of diversity, and the Coffee and Conversation series, which has been running since 2017 and inspired our event tonight. Today's event is very important as it highlights the Students for Environmental Change. And with that, I'd like to introduce our panelists.
Hello, everyone. My name is Srini Tamana. I'm from Monroe Township, New Jersey, attended Monroe Township High School, and I'm currently 15 years old, and I'm the founder of a nonprofit called Recycle My Battery.
Hi, everyone. My name is Persis Garg. I'm a junior at East Brunswick High School in East Brunswick, New Jersey, and I'm the founder of the nonprofit Green Good Guardians.
Hi, I'm Joyce, and I'm 16 years old. I go to East Brunswick High School, and I'm the founder of the Harvest Hope Network and currently the president of Students Against Violating the Environment, which is the environmental club in East Brunswick High School.
Thank you. So, what do you do?
Yeah, so I would love to answer that question. So basically, I'm the founder of a nonprofit called Recycle My Battery. So it's a youth-led organization that is dedicated to actually promoting the importance of recycling used batteries properly among primarily the young people. And we also give them the opportunity to recycle their used batteries properly to make the world a better place, because not that many people know about recycling used batteries properly. Did you know that only 1% of the people around the world know about recycling used batteries properly? And over 15 billion batteries are thrown away each year worldwide. So to actually solve this problem, that's the reason why I started Recycle My Battery, and we actually educate the people on this important process, and we, like I mentioned before, we provide them with the opportunity to recycle their used batteries properly through battery bins.
Good. I'm happy to say that I'm proud of the 1% who recycles. What do you do?
So as I mentioned before, I'm the founder of the nonprofit Green Good Guardians, and it is an eco-conscious organization that really focuses on reducing paper wastage. What we do is we collect half-used notebooks from the general public, the community, and we repurpose them by taking their unused pages to create new notebooks, second-verse notebooks. Across the nation, around 26% of our landfills are all filled with paper. So what my organization aims to do is try and make a dent and try and reduce the amount of paper wastage that, fills like our country every single day. And so in order to collect these notebooks, we have placed collection boxes in locations such as schools, libraries, offices, different businesses, areas that are really open to the general public, where the general public has access to them. They can drop off their half-used notebooks, and we can take them and turn them into new notebooks called, as I have here, second-verse notebooks. And they have the unused pages. And these notebooks, if you want to take a look, these notebooks are then given back to the community, back to deserving children who lack educational materials.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
I have a question. Do you take spiral notebooks and black marble notebooks, or only spiral?
Yeah, so the notebooks we take, we collect any spiral notebooks, black marble. People have even given loose leaf paper, but what we really focus on is notebooks that are half used,
Right.
that contain just a couple, like pages that are used, but still contain unused pages that can be repurposed in the future.
Thank you.
So, as I mentioned, I'm Joyce, and I'm founder of the Harvest Hope Network. And what we do as an organization is, we repurpose vegetables and food waste that would otherwise be thrown away or gone to rot from local gardeners who usually grow more excess produce than they can actually eat. And we donate it to the Aldersgate Community Outreach Center and other food pantries. So far, we've partnered with two organizations, or two community gardens from East Brunswick, the Trinity Presbyterian Garden and East Brunswick Community Garden, and have collected a total of 500 pounds of food waste in the past summer or so, or only a few months.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Taryn Weber. I'm a member of the Human Relations Council also, and I have a question for each of our panelists. So my question is, where did the inspiration come from for your programs, and what prompted you to get started?
Yeah, so to answer that question, I would like to talk about my journey, how it all began, and what was my inspiration was to start and recycle my battery. So my journey began 5 years ago, 5.5 years actually, back in June of 2019, when I was sitting down to watch the news at the age of 10. Then I saw something devastating occur on the news. I saw that a lithium-ion battery completely exploded in a waste disposal plant in California. It caused unimaginable destruction, costing millions of dollars worth of damage. After seeing this, I remembered the chaos and everything occurred on that day, and it devastated me. After seeing that story occur on the news, I felt very angry that nobody was even taking action after seeing something very disturbing and devastating like this occur on the news. And I also felt very sad that our Mother Earth had to go through all this pressure, which was being driven by us humans. So after witnessing that incident on the news, that was when I decided to step up and actually make a change. I did some more research, and I learned that 15 billion batteries are thrown away globally because of the 1% of people around the world who know about recycling use batteries properly. So these stats prompt me to actually start recycling my battery, to actually make a change in the world, to make the world a better place. Because battery recycling is such a huge problem if you compare it to plastic recycling or like properly disposing of trash. It's a huge problem, and I want to fight and I want to make things right.
Okay, thank you for that. And yourself?
Yeah, and as for Green Good Guardians, inspiration for this organization came to me when I was a freshman entering my sophomore year of high school. So what I really realized as I entered my sophomore year of high school is how at the end of each school year, my brother Ryan and I, we would end every school year with our backpacks filled with 10 to 12 notebooks that were just half used. We would use maybe 5 to 10 pages per notebook, with the rest of it just being empty. And at the end of each new school year, back we were at Walmart or like any other stationery store buying new notebooks and leaving the old notebooks that we would use the previous year, throwing it in the recycling bin, throwing it in the trash bin, all of which they all would end up in our local landfill. So recognizing the amount of waste that was created in my own home and recognizing that this is a real sustainable issue, I was really prompted to try and come up with a solution and to try and reduce the paper wastage in my home. So me and my brother, we came up with the idea of repurposing the notebooks and taking their clean pages and putting it towards a better use, a better purpose, creating these second verse notebooks that could then be given back to children who don't really have access to the educational materials that they deserve.
It's amazing.
A
Beautiful.
double bonus.
A double bonus, absolutely. No, for sure. I wish you were around when my kids were growing up, because you know how many notebooks I threw out? Yeah. How about yourself?
So the inspiration for me came, my mom's actually a really big gardener, and I've been gardening with her since I was very little. And every single year she has the same problem where she grows so much, and it depends on a season and how much rain we get. And it means that, as an example, I mean, last year we had like 7 pumpkins, and these pumpkins were ginormous to the extent where nobody can eat that much for a period of time before produce goes bad. And then I realized that a lot of the gardeners in our town and that I've seen have had the same problem where they produce so much produce that it's more than they can eat and more than their neighbors and family members can eat as well. At the same time, food security or food insecurity is a really big issue in our community and communities across the country. So connecting these two things together, I realized that what gardeners really need is a collection space to be able to donate their excess produce and make a difference in the lives of people that would really benefit from healthy food.
Another double bonus. Okay, so I was going to ask about the organizations that you are part of. So it seems each of you have kind of started your own organization. So my question is it now just you working in this in your town, or have you expanded at all? Do you have other people doing this? Are you in any other areas?
Yeah, so to answer that question, we at Recycle My Battery, we're a team of over 900 youth volunteers from all around the world. So basically, we have team members from mainly New Jersey in the United States, around the US. We have team members from Canada, India, Switzerland, and beyond.
And
So
you've built this whole team.
yeah,
Amazing.
me and also the other team members they referenced, and through social media posts, interviews like this, blogs, we were able to attract more kids, and we were able to inspire even more young people to join in our initiative and actually creating a change in their societies.
And did you start this all by yourself, or did you have a partner in the beginning?
Yeah, I started this initiative by myself 5 years ago. So I was the person who started this, and I got more people involved. It's like a chain reaction. So basically, I got more people involved. Those people got more people involved, like that. It's a chain
It's
reaction.
amazing.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And for Green Good Guardians, I'm very fortunate to say that we do have volunteers in the tri-state area, and we've even expanded internationally to India. We have, as I've mentioned before, our system, it works through collection boxes. So we have collection boxes in various school districts, each with student liaisons that will monitor the box, will collect the box, and help us with gathering the donations. We have students in South Brunswick, Old Bridge, Howell, the Howell School District, just recently Sayreville, and students in Connecticut as well. And there's also a team in India who they will collect the notebooks over there and create notebooks over there and create second verse notebooks.
So in India, they're creating. Is there anywhere else in the U.S. where they're creating? Or in the U.S., are you the only one doing the physical repurposing?
Currently, I am the one doing the physical repurposing of the notebooks, but that is something in the future that we're looking towards to expand even further, just so that these notebooks are available to a wider range of people, not just like people within New Jersey, and yeah, more across the nation.
And more can be made.
Yeah.
Eventually, you reach a capacity where
Yeah.
you can't physically make any more, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I imagine you have your family at work, but
Garage is full of notebooks.
How many notebooks have you?
Oh, well, currently probably over 3,000 notebooks that we've created just on our own. Recently this summer, we collaborated with the New Brunswick Police Department, just this previous winter, or just in right now this winter, the NYPD, where we can create and donate like probably 1,000 per event that we attend for those organizations.
Beautiful.
and you donated it in East Brunswick to the local.
Yeah, East Brunswick as well. The East Brunswick Sustainability Task Force, East Brunswick Education Foundation Association.
Yeah, the drive that the clergy council in
Yeah.
town do. I know you made a donation of a couple hundred notebooks to
Yeah.
them this year. Yeah.
So for me, I just started this summer. So for the meantime, it's mostly my parents and I, but we have been very happy with the amount of support that our program has received from the community and gardeners around town. Yeah, so we have gotten a lot of donations so far, and it shows people are pretty interested in participating in this. But we are looking to involve more volunteers in the coming year and the coming season for getting donation boxes to more places and volunteers.
Right now, you said you were collecting at the community gardens, and are you collecting from private gardeners also?
Yeah, private gardeners do have they have the opportunity to get their produce to our donation boxes, which are pretty situated in like convenient spots around town. And as for the East Brunswick or the East Brunswick High School Environmental Club, we're around 40 members, which is a great number, and I was quite surprised about that as well. And all of these people are going to be working towards making positive change in our community, namely through the process of composting.
Oh, that's great. That's something East Brunswick is sorely lacking. I'm on the environment, the sustainability task force, and we keep talking about how to make that happen here. So it's nice to see it starting in the high school. That's a great
The
initiative.
youth are ahead of you.
Yeah, that's a great initiative. Well, that's where it has to be, so that's great. Okay. I think we answered a couple of questions on the list here,
Yeah.
so why don't you go to the one that was going to be me? Just go to next.
So, do you think it is important that other people your age get involved in this kind of work?
Yeah, of course I think that young people should actually get involved with this work, and I think it's really important that young change makers actually get involved with this work, because I always keep on telling kids that the youth is like the youth is really important right now because it's totally up to them to actually make an impact. The younger generation is the next generation to actually make things right because we're harming the Mother Earth. We have to actually make things right before 2100 because climate change will be irreversible by then. So that's why I always tell the younger generation to either join our initiative to create a change or go out and become the change maker that they want to be, basically creating the change, starting their own initiatives, or creating their or actually joining existing initiatives based on their passion to actually create a change because the younger generation can actually make things right. And also what I've observed over the years is that when a young kid or a young person actually goes and talks to a crowd about an issue, it will have a higher impact compared to when an adult talks to a like you guys it has a so it has a higher impact when compared to when an adult talks to an adult. So that's why I always encourage young people to actually go out and talk about world issues so that they can motivate, inspire other kids, and they can also spread awareness faster and easier to the people because like I mentioned again, it's all up to the youth generation to make things right. So that's why I always encourage people to start their own initiatives or join existing initiatives or join our organization to actually make their impact.
Yeah, and as for me, I strongly believe that young people should really join initiatives such as these, create their own initiatives, and just become more involved in the topic of climate change, sustainability, protecting our environment. A quote that really resonates with me: every step leaves a footprint, no matter how small. So all the actions that we're taking today, they're going to have some sort of consequence in the future, and it's up to us, the young generation, to try and reverse the damage that has been done currently and create a better, a stronger future for future generations. It's up to us. We can talk right like we're doing right now. We're talking about what's been done, and we can talk all we want, but truly action is the thing that's going to make a difference. And the action of us, the younger generation, is what's going to make a difference in trying to reduce climate change and trying to save our Mother Earth for the next future generations.
Just to add on to what the other panelists were saying, I do think that this goes to any initiative that you could start as a young person. And it's really that if you have an issue or something that you feel like needs change or something you can provide a solution to, you should not be afraid to speak up about what you believe in and what you believe you can change. Because of that one initiative that you took, your first step, there are people who are willing to support you and who will continue to support you after they learn about a specific issue. So I really hope that young people can feel empowered to bring up their own concerns and their own ideas. Yeah.
And I think the fact that you have 40 people in your committee at school,
Yeah.
it shows that that maybe there is, a consensus among young people that this is important and something they should be doing, because that's a large size for a school club.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's encouraging.
There's a lot of interest there.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Since starting your programs, did anything surprise you or happen to you that happened to you or to others since starting?
Yeah, there were many things that surprised me. So throughout the journey, throughout the time I started my organization, Recycle My Battery, I actually learned so many things about batteries that I have never known. Those stats just shocked me. Like, for example, the 1% of people around the world who know about recycling used batteries properly, or the 15 billion batteries. In the US alone, 3 billion batteries are thrown away globally. It's 3 billion single-use batteries. So all these stats, when I hear about them, it just shocks me, It just feels like batteries are just so toxic, so flammable. I initially thought that people would actually know that they don't belong in the trash, but it turns out I was wrong. It turns out that most people threw their batteries away into the trash. So starting my journey, I learned so many things about batteries. I learned so many things about the materials inside of batteries, the environmental impact caused by batteries, and all these statistics just shocked me. It just shocked me. It just motivated me to actually work harder to actually make that impact that the world needs.
Do you collect every kind of battery?
Yeah, so basically, we collect every single type of battery except car batteries. Car batteries are too big for the battery bin, so we normally don't like accept the car batteries. And we place these bins in offices, schools, libraries, leasing offices. We actually, as of now, we should have a battery bin at the East Brunswick Library. So if anybody has used batteries, you can take them to the East Brunswick Library and you can recycle them properly.
If you'd like, we can add a bin at the East Brunswick Recycling Center.
Of course, yeah,
We'll do
please.
that.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I've also, in this journey, this past 2-year journey, have been able to learn a lot, especially regarding paper wastage and the true impact that this initiative has had. Actually, on the back of each second verse notebook, we have statistics for the impact of every 50 second verse notebooks that are made. And if I read it off here, the impact of every 50 second verse notebooks saves 1 tree, 10,000 gallons of water, 4 kilowatts of electricity, $50, and 20 kids are supported for every 50 notebooks.
Wow.
So, yeah, just the sheer impact that
yeah.
the Second Verse Initiative
cool
has
to
had.
know that.
Yeah,
That's very cool.
It's nice to see at the
Yeah,
back
yeah.
of each notebook, just really feel the
visual.
impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, and apart from this, just what I've learned about like people in general,
Yeah.
just the generosity that people have and their willingness to drop off notebooks and contribute to this cause for not only the environment but kids in various different communities. Students, they drop off their notebooks at schools. People, they'll drop off their notebooks at East Brunswick Recycling Center, the East Brunswick Library, our local ShopRite, Spotswood ShopRite. Just their willingness to contribute and become and be a part of a greater cause.
How about yourself?
So, for me, I definitely agree with Persis in the sense that it is really great to see how much support that the Harvest Hope Network has received from the community and local gardeners. And it does surprise me the amount of food that people donate from time to time and in like such quantities for one specific thing. The other thing is that, at least for the food that we donate, it did surprise me that a lot of the food that is in food banks or like that people are able to contribute to these organizations is often boxed goods or processed materials that can be adverse to people's health. So having the ability to have organic food or things that were grown locally is something that I think has a lot of value. And I have seen that people in the food banks that we donate to have really appreciated the fact that they were able to have fresh produce, so we are trying to expand that.
It's definitely a treat for them.
Do you know how much you've collected? or-
Yeah, so far we've collected around 500 pounds.
100 pounds
Wow.
of food in 1 year. That's great. Just starting out, right?
Wow.
Just doing it alone.
Kudos, that's awesome.
So, during all this timeline, has anything disappointed you? Have you been frustrated with something like, oh,
Yeah, so it's like to answer this question, I mean, in the initial start of starting recycling my battery, I have been frustrated a little, but like answer that question, I would like to talk about my challenge because that kind of frustrated me a little, but I was able to overcome it. So basically, the challenge that Recycling My Battery has experienced in the initial start was actually having a supporter organization. So initially, we used to collect the used batteries from our neighbors. We used to go door to door collecting used batteries, and we used to take them to Staples and Home Depot because they actually accept used batteries. However, after a few months of doing this, we used to give them so many batteries that they rejected us. They said
Oh, my. Wow.
they basically said that they would only collect 10 batteries every day. 10 batteries, maths. So hundreds and hundreds of batteries were piling up. We were getting hundreds of batteries. How could we go every day, take 10 batteries to Staples and Home Depot every day? That's just unreal. That's one thing that frustrated me because we actually need a battery organization to help support us so that we can recycle those used batteries properly because you know that we can't afford a recycling facility to build one and just recycle them ourselves, right? So that was one challenge that we had in Recycling My Battery, and that kind of frustrated me because I knew that I thought that Recycling My Battery is not going to last long without a supporter. But eventually, I managed to overcome that. I did some research, and I learned about an organization called Call to Recycle, which is the nation's largest battery recycling organization in the US and Canada. So I reached out to them, and the CEO actually reached back to me, and he said that he would be able to support us. And they said that since we're a kid-led organization, they would be able to gave us free battery bins and would be able to collect and recycle all of the batteries, everything for free.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And eventually we were able to, they primarily accept only lithium-ion batteries, rechargeable batteries, but we were able to convince them to take every kind of battery too, like alkaline batteries, except the car batteries. So that was one challenge that we faced, and that was one moment in recycling my battery where I felt kind of frustrated and when I felt kind of sad, but I was able to overcome it, and
That's
we're
great.
here.
Good for you. That's
Thank you.
awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and as for me, fortunately, this journey for Green Good Guardians has been pretty good. But like I mentioned before, the support that we have currently is really like very generous and very like great. But in the beginning, I will say that there were a couple of hurdles that we had to overcome, especially with the majority of our boxes being in schools, just their willingness to house a box, in order to overcome this little like hiccup of, oh, we can only place boxes in these schools, not in these schools. We can't really encompass the entire township. I actually had to go and present in front of the East Brunswick Board of Education, present my idea, advocate for my idea, and be like, hey, can you please advocate for me and tell these schools that this initiative, it can really help and give back to the community, and these boxes, I believe, will really truly play a role in helping our environment and the students of our own East Brunswick. So that was definitely a moment like a year ago where I was frustrated and I had to overcome it by presenting to those professionals. But apart from that, it's been a pretty steady journey, and we've been doing good.
Such determination.
Yeah.
So at least some of the more physical challenges that I faced in donating vegetables is that a lot of people do want them because you can eat them, obviously. So a lot of people at the community garden, or not always, but there has been instances where stuff has been stolen, or gardeners have reached out to me and said like, hey, I donated this thing, but you guys didn't receive it, and that has been a problem. But at the same time, although this was a difficulty, we were able to fix it by adding more security to the boxes. But in the end, if people do need vegetables or produce in general, then I'm just glad you're going to the right places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And my question to you, is there anything that you would change or do something differently, or what do you think?
I mean, as of now, like if I could go back and change anything, I wouldn't change anything. Like we're making such a huge impact. We're doing good. So I think if I would say something to myself, I would just say keep doing what you're doing, put in more hard work. So like as of now, over the past 5 years, we have been able to educate over 38 million people on this process worldwide. We were able to recycle over 585,000 used batteries.
How many?
585,000.
Wow.
And we were able to build a team, like I think I mentioned this in the previous questions, we were able to build a team of over 900 youth volunteers from all around the world to the organization. And we placed over 1,000 battery bins around the nation. So looking at those statistics, I would say I would keep doing the work that you're doing. I would say that to myself, and I wouldn't go back and necessarily change anything.
I don't see why you would, honestly. You're having great success, it sounds like. So kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like I've mentioned before, right now we're doing pretty good. But if I could change anything and tell something to myself 2 years ago, it would definitely be to create and really like promote more like community-driven programs. This past summer, I did do like an event, Pages to Petals, where we would take the used pages of the notebooks. It was an arts and craft event where we would take the used pages and create, invite like young children, school children, and they would create new paper roses with an artist that we had collaborated with. And these programs really help to just involve younger kids and make them aware of like these initiatives and aware of the problems that face our community today. But apart from that, and apart from just having like more events like that, I think I wouldn't really change anything. We've done really good and impacted probably over 600 families with the notebooks that we've given, and we have over 50, 60 locations in the tri-state area, and like I mentioned before, in India. So just keep working hard, I would tell myself, and just keep going.
Yeah, it sounds like you're growing. So
Yeah.
That's amazing. I wouldn't change anything. Keep doing what you're doing.
So personally, I am also very happy with the progress that my organization has made over the past year. But if I were to change something for myself personally, I would think that I would start collecting sooner in the school year during spring, so we were able to get more donations. And really to expand this initiative to include more community gardens and more places around our town or in like the surrounding area, because it is really a problem that people face. But during the off season, I've been doing a lot of work with the environmental club and my school and working on composting, which also goes to reducing food waste. So if I were to tell one thing to myself, I would say to expand and to reach out to more people, to have community events, as you mentioned, and really to raise awareness about the issue of food insecurity and food waste, because I think it's really important for people to know that.
Yeah, that's a great concern there, for sure. I agree.
So I'll give you a chance if there's anything any of you want to know about each other's programs. If you have any questions for each other, I want to give you an opportunity to ask.
So we've talked a lot about what you guys are like currently doing. What are your guys' like long-term future goals? Like, where do you guys see yourselves in the next like maybe 3 to 4 years? I know we're graduating in a couple of years,
Great
but
question.
where do you guys see yourselves?
Yeah, so basically, like, I want to take recycling of battery even more around the world. So we placed emphasis on the United States of America these past 5 years. And my next goal, I would say, is to take this initiative to India, like do the exact same things we're doing in the US in India, because India is actually our second largest country in terms of members. We have a team of about 50 plus kids in India. The only problem is that there's no battery organization in India to actually support us, because Call to Recycle doesn't support overseas shipping. So that's the reason why I'm actively looking for an organization in India to support us. Most of the organizations said that they can support us, but they won't accept the single-use batteries. They will only accept the lithium-ion batteries and the rechargeable batteries. So I would say my next goal in the next 3 to 4 years is to actually find an organization, establish a partnership with them, and take this to India and make it as big as like we have done in the United States.
For me, I would like to, one of my other big interests is biological research and molecular biology. And another thing that I would like to do in the future in terms of like my future career, in addition to work on like raising awareness for food waste, is to find ways in which we can use genetics and molecular biology in general to reduce the effects of climate change on individuals and organisms in general, because there is really big effects and things that can make a difference on human health. Yeah.
Answer your own question.
Yeah, so as for me, paper waste and collecting these notebooks, I feel is just the tip of the iceberg. And I think apart from paper waste, trees and tree plantations is something that I'm really looking to in the future. What we're doing right now is we are collecting the pages like that are currently here, but planting trees back into the environment, I feel, is another important aspect of trying to combat climate change. So yeah, tree plantations is something that I'm looking forward to in the next couple of years.
Well, I want to thank everybody. My name is Holly Cerami. I am also on the East Brunswick Human Relations Council. I want to thank everybody for being here, the members of the council, and these amazing guests that we have had today. Very inspiring. I hope that this inspires other young people to get involved the way you have. I want to commend each of you because I am so impressed by what you have done and the initiative you have taken on your own to try to make these amazing changes. I just want to reiterate that they mentioned where you can make these donations. We are going to have a bin for Green Good Guardians and for the batteries at the East Brunswick Recycling Center, in addition to the other places that they are collecting. Also, if you want more information from any of them, at the end of the video, there'll be a post with the ways to contact them if you need to contact any of them about what they're doing or you want to get involved. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's program. And once again, I hope it inspires everybody. And as always, thank you to EBTV for their hard work.